What if I told you that you could have a portable 30 amp RV pedestal in the back of your truck that you could lift with one arm, no gas, no fumes, no noise, just pure silent power that can power just about anything in your RV, including the air conditioner. This is the DJI Power 2000 power station. And like I said, it's essentially like having a portable 30 amp RV pedestal in the back of your truck. I'm going to tell you in today's video why this is a game changer for RVers, especially if you're a weekend warrior like myself. I'm going to give you all the details on it, including what it can and can't run. So stay tuned. Now to start things off, I'm going to give you a quick look at all the inputs and outputs here on the DJI Power 2000. I do think it's noteworthy to point out that everything, including the buttons, the inputs and outputs, and the screen, everything is on one side right here. So I really like that a lot. But over here on the right side, we've got two SDC ports. This is something unique to a DJI Power station. Basically, the SDC ports are high-powered input and output ports. I'll go through what you can connect to those later in the video. Right next to that, we've got our AC inlet. So this is where we would recharge the power station off of shore power. It can go up to 1,800 watts. So that's really impressive. And then down below here, we've got four USB-A ports. These are maximum 24 watt output. And then we've got four more USB-C ports. These two are 65 watt max, and these are, get a load of this, 140 watt max. So really impressive there. And then over here, we've got the AC output. We've got three 20 amp outlets, so you can use 15 or 20 amp plugs here. And then this is really what makes this a game changer. Right here is that 30 amp RV outlet. Now I know I've been saying 30 amp. To be absolutely technical, this has a maximum AC output of 3,000 watts, so really it's limited to up to 25 amps, but it is the standard 30 amp RV outlet. More on that later. And then in the center here, it's got the screen. I like it. It's visible indoors, outdoors, really easy to read, and it's got all the important information that I want to see. Now, if you were paying attention, you probably noticed that there's something missing here on the front panel in terms of outputs. Where is the conventional 12-volt outlet, right? And this is where DJI handles it a little bit differently than the competitors. Going back to these SDC ports, DJI sells this SDC to 12-volt adapter separately so that you can plug in right here to either of these SDC ports, and then you have a 12-volt outlet. Now, I kind of get why they're doing this, because a lot of manufacturers are getting away from 12-volt outlets. They're using things like USB-C with the power delivery spec. So I kind of get it, but personally, I would still like to see a dedicated 12-volt outlet because I use a portable 12-volt compressor-driven refrigerator that has a conventional 12-volt plug, just like this one here. But I do appreciate the fact that they offer this accessory, although it will occupy one of the two SDC ports right here, leaving you only one open. Now, on that note, I want to point out something important. On the very first DJI Power Station, the Power 1000, if you wanted Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connectivity, you had to get the DJI dongle and plug it in and occupy one of the SDC ports just to have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity. On this 2000 model here, they changed that and they incorporated the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi directly into the unit as it should be. So I do appreciate that. On the previous Power 1000, I would have been completely full at this point. Whereas here on the 2000, at least I still do have an extra SDC port. And I've been using it for several months now, and I've never run out of SDC ports. I really think 2 is the kind of the perfect number. But I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes not having a surplus makes me want just one more of something. Now, in terms of other notable specs here on the DJI Power 2000, it has, as the name suggests, a 2,048 watt-hour battery capacity. Now, in just a minute, when I demonstrate this with the RV connected, you'll see on the DJI screen right here and the app, estimated run times remaining. But to give you an idea on the 12-volt side, if I plug in my 12-volt IceCo compressor-driven refrigerator, and it's a hot summer day, temperatures exceeding 80 degrees, and so that refrigerator is set to 33 degrees on the refrigeration side, 10 degrees on the freezer side, generally I can get about 36 to 48 hours of runtime, with that being the only appliance running here on the DJI Power Station without replenishing it. Now, in terms of build quality, if you're a subscriber to my channel or you've seen some of my previous videos, then you already know that I test a lot of different power stations from the mainstream players like EcoFlow, Blue Eddy, Jackery, just to name a few. And although DJI is new to the power station space, they've been making drones for over 10 years, and they are the global leader when it comes to drones. And so I think they've taken that manufacturing and engineering experience and they've applied it here to their power stations. And so in terms of build quality, I think they're right up there with all the mainstream players. It's got some very nice, robust handles on either side. The casing has a real nice matte finish to it. It feels very durable. And so nothing about this feels cheap. I think they're right up there with EcoFlow, Blue Eddy, Jackery in terms of the build quality. But now I'm going to connect the DJI Power 2000 to my RV, and this is the most exciting part of the video for me to show you what it can and can't run. And so I'm going to connect it to the standard 30 amp plug that any 30 amp RV has. And that's what's so nice about the DJI Power 2000 is it has that 30 amp plug. Now, I've got a Power Watchdog Surge Protector EPO, and basically it monitors for ground and neutral, and if it's not present, it won't let the power pass through. So since I'm using a power station, I have to use this right here. It's basically a bonding plug that bonds the neutral to the ground, and that way power can pass through. So if you don't have one of those Power Watchdogs hardwired into your RV, you don't have to worry about that, but that's what that plug is right there. So everything's connected up. Now I'm just going to turn the AC power on. I'll hear a click, and then the Power Watchdog is going to send the power to the RV next. There it goes, I just heard it, and we can see that we're getting some output. By the way, DJI has a very nice app. It's called the DJI Home app, and I will record this as well so you can see it on the screen better. But basically it shows all the different things I want to see, like my output that you're looking at right now. And so because the RV was not plugged in before, the converter has turned on and it's replenishing the lithium battery that's on the front tongue right there, and perhaps some other appliances, just kind of the passive static draw off of the RV right there. Now, because the goal of this video is to show you what it can and can't run, I'm actually going to turn off my converter right here, and that way I can better isolate what's actually running when I demonstrate the DJI Power 2000. Now, in previous videos where I've tested power stations, a lot of times I'll start out with testing smaller appliances like a hair dryer, an espresso machine right here. But just out of respect for your time, something like this is going to be absolutely no problem whatsoever for the DJI Power 2000. And so really I'm just going to cut straight to the chase and demonstrate the more powerful appliances. So I'm going to start with the microwave. You can see the current usage on the output right there, under 20 watts. And so it's just kind of the passive draw. But let's go ahead and start with the microwave right here and just run it for 30 seconds. And there's nothing in here, but don't worry, it's only for 30 seconds. And you can see the output jump there to about, looks like 1400 watts or so. And that's about right for running the microwave. No problem. Again, it has a 3000 watt max output on the AC inverter there. It is a pure sine wave inverter. And so no surprise, but just imagine, you're at a rest stop, you've got some leftovers you want to warm up. Well, you just plug in the DJI Power 2000 and run the microwave, no problem at all. But what if it's a hot summer day and you want to run the air conditioner off the grid with the DJI Power 2000? Right here I've got a Furrion 15,000 BTU conventional air conditioner. This is the Chill HE model, not the Chill Cube, the inverter-based model. It's just a conventional 15,000 BTU air conditioner, so it's, full on, full off type style. So can the power station run the air conditioner? Well, let's go ahead and get it fired up. And so we're going to turn the air conditioner on, and I'm going to turn the temperature way down to 62 degrees. And in just a minute, it's going to turn on there. There should be a real big inrush current, and we can see there it's climbing on the output wattage. Not too bad, actually. Right around 1,000. Let's see how much it climbs here. Staying pretty steady, about 1,000. Now, I've got a confession to make. If you're looking at the output wattage and wondering, why it didn't spike up to 1,600 watts with the air conditioner, well, it's because I've got a soft start installed. This is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, like I said, but with that soft start, it basically gradually ramps up to the full output. And that way it doesn't cause that giant inrush current, which oftentimes can mess up a portable power station or a gas generator for that matter. So really a soft start is a key piece of the puzzle. If you plan to run an air conditioner off of a power station, go ahead and put that soft start on your air conditioner and that will help it start up better when you're running it off of a power station. I'm gonna let this run for a few minutes to get all the way up to the maximum, and then we'll see where we're at in terms of output and remaining runtime. Okay, so the air conditioner's been running continuously for about 10 minutes or so, and the power station hasn't even flinched. I can feel that the fan has turned on. This seems to be the intake on this side where it's sucking cool air in. And then over here on this side, I can feel the warm air exhausting out of the unit, but it's not super hot. And the watts, the output there you can see has climbed to about 1,300 watts. It seems to be pretty steady right there. And in my experience, that's a little bit low for my air conditioner. And I think what's going on is cooler day. It's only in the 70s today, and we're in the shade. If I was out in the sun, the temperatures were more in the 80s or 90s, then the compressor is going to be working a little bit harder, and I'd probably see the output wattage closer to the 1,500 mark, the 1,400 to 1,500 mark. That seems to be more average for what I've seen on my air conditioner. But I still think this gives us a really good idea in terms of time. How much could you run the air conditioner if it's just running continuously, and maybe you're off the grid somewhere, you just want to take the edge off the temperature and bring it down. Well, pretty much about an hour and a half of continuously running that air conditioner. Now, oftentimes the air conditioner is going to cycle on and off when it reaches that desired set temperature, but I really want to demonstrate its capabilities and push it to the limits further. So what if you want to run the 15,000 BTU air conditioner plus the microwave at the same time? And most power stations have a surge capacity. In other words, for X number of seconds, it can handle a load higher than its rated output. Again, this one's rated at 3,000 watts or 25 amps. So let's find out if we can run the microwave and the 15,000 BTU air conditioner at the same time. It's been running, of course, for about 16, 17 minutes so far. And so let's go ahead and fire up the microwave again for another 30 seconds. All right, here we go. And we're seeing a surge right there, a little one. There it's climbing. All right, 2687, 2682. So it doesn't look like it got above 3,000 watts there. That's really interesting, and it's still going. You can see right there, no problem at all. We're well under 3,000 watts right now. But I just think about you're at a rest area, it's a hot summer day, you can turn on the air conditioner and then also use the microwave at the same time. How cool is that? So no drama to report, there's no error codes going on. The air conditioner's been running now for about 20 minutes. I feel just a little bit of heat up here on the top, but just barely warm. The fans are doing a really good job of exhausting and keeping it nice and cool. So I think at the end of the day, you're gonna have to try really hard to max this out, especially if you have a 30 amp RV. But I think what makes the DJI Power ecosystem such a game changer, especially for RVers, is the ability to rapidly replenish and recharge the power station. What I've got right here is the DJI super fast car charger that charges up to, get this folks, 1 kilowatt. That's 1,000 watts of power. Basically, this right here is harnessing the power of your vehicle's alternator while you're driving down the highway, and it's basically rapidly recharging the power station. And that's where these SDC ports really come in handy, because other power stations typically can't receive 1,000 watts of current, such a high rate of flow like that. Now, I've done extensive testing on this particular unit here in other videos, and so I'll put a card up to the main one where I showcased all its features, but I've been using this setup for several months, and it's worked flawlessly for me. With 1,000 watts of power, if this power station is completely empty at 0%, I can go from 0 to 100% in about 2 hours. Just imagine that you're on a road trip with your family, you stop for lunch at a rest area, plug into the 30 amp connection with your RV, turn on the air conditioner, microwave, all that good stuff. And maybe 30 minutes later, you're back in the truck. So maybe you're down in the 50% range on battery capacity. But then with this super fast car charger connection, disconnected, you're going to be right back up to 100%, probably in about an hour's time frame. And as a weekend warrior, one thing that makes a lot of sense to me at a practical level is if I'm going to buy one of these to use primarily with my RV on the weekends here and there, it's great to be able to find multiple use case scenarios to justify the costs. So for example, let's say a storm comes through and I lose power in my house. Well, I can then take this power station, bring it inside. Remember, there's no fumes, no noise, and I can plug in my refrigerator, multiple refrigerators, basically anything up to 3,000 watts or 25 amps. And so it's great to be able to find multiple use cases when you're going to spend the big bucks on something like this. Now, if you need to fit this somewhere in particular, let me give you the dimensions real quickly. It is 16 inches across right here. If you add the handles in, it's going to be 17 3/4 inches. Height-wise, we're looking at 13 inches. And then the depth right here is about 9 inches. So in conclusion, is the DJI Power 2000 the ultimate power station for RVers, especially if you're a weekend warrior like myself? And you know, I've been using it for the last couple months, and I gotta say I'm genuinely impressed, not only with the fact that it has this 30 amp receptacle on it, but given the overall size and weight of the unit. Most power stations that have a 30 amp plug like this one here are heavier and larger. And this is almost like the Goldilocks of power stations. It's not too big, not too small. It has just the right amount of capacity, at least for the way that I use it. So I'm really enjoying the DJI Power 2000 and the fact that I can rapidly recharge it through their super fast car charger. I really do think it is a game changer. Now I realize I've covered a lot in this video, and so you probably have questions. Definitely drop them down below, and I'll be glad to answer them. If you're interested in purchasing one of these DJI Power stations or all the accessories that I showcased in this video, I will include links down below pinned in the first comment. I appreciate you using those to help support the channel. As always, thanks for watching.